Hey everyone, it's Clint. Welcome to Sweetcast. I want to talk about forgiveness in comics. This is not a lecture though, trust me. If anything, maybe I'd name this like Dear Gail Simone. I just want to share some of my thoughts on some of the interesting changes that happened over the weekend. Olive branches, maybe I don't even want to say kind words, but just like a minute percent of openness to people that think differently. It sounds like there's a whole bunch of comic book pros that have been unblocking people, specifically if you're Comicsgate, if you are, following Ethan Van Sciver, if you're following, I don't know, Alterna Comics, if you're following anybody that has been deemed an outsider by the comic book industry, there have been creators that are now unblocking people. And I believe, or it sounds like it has something to do with this, with the current pandemic that's going on. And like most things, I think money is, it's always a factor. It's a motivating factor for sure. And so, yeah, we're gonna get into some of this. So Gail Simone posted this. I am going in through my alt account because I am still blocked by Gail Simone. I don't think I've ever spoken to Gail Simone, but Gail, if you're watching, here we go. I'm speaking to you now. Okay, so she did this thing where she posted this big old long thread, and it was about writing, I guess some writing exercise or something like that. I didn't bother reading through the whole thing because it's really long, but this particular tweet was making the rounds. A lot of people were pointing it out. And, I saw a lot of really harsh reactions to it, some kind reactions, mostly harsh reactions. So Gail Simone said, I don't care what your politics are or your talent level or background. Everyone is welcome, provided they are open to learn and won't be critical of others participating. And you realize it goes more than one way. That's a two-way street right there. There's a whole lot of two-way streets that I'm seeing pop up. And then in parentheses, she added, if you are CG or whatever and want to participate, have someone ask to unblock you and please behave. All right, so a lot of people were saying that this was some kind of olive branch from Gail Simone to Comicsgate. And I heard but can't confirm, I didn't really look into this, that there were some other comics pros that, I think they would even call themselves SJWs. Could be wrong, but everybody else thinks of them as SJWs. And they wanted some kind of a culture war truce. Again, I haven't really looked into that aspect of it, so take that with a grain of salt. But there's been a change. Now, part of this could be because I think there's a wrong perception of what Comicsgate is and what it is not. If you think that Comicsgate is a monolith and it's just a whole bunch of people that all vote exactly the same way, think exactly the same way, like all the same creators, like all the same books, et cetera, you are going to be wrong. If you want access, if things are looking tough and the economy is really taking a hit, and it is, guys, it's going to be bad. It'll recover. Things will be fine. I'm not being alarmist here. It'll be fine. But in the short term, it's going to mean some tough times for comics. But the solution to that is not to come and, say, hey, Comicsgate, we can be friends again. And then therefore you have access to the Comicsgate network. You have to understand, a network is not like you just land your ship there, the mothership. That's not how it works. The way that it works is you create your own network. Like you're creating a hub of that network, and you're connecting and you're offering things to the rest of that network. That's one part, but there's also the understanding that everybody's going to run their portion of that network a little bit differently. For example, I have a modest-sized YouTube channel. I'm very grateful for it. We're getting really close to 5,000 subscribers. It's not anything too impressive, but it does work. It's effective in getting a message out there. It's effective in letting people get to know you as a creator, or me as a creator for talking about my channel. So the way that it works is you don't just come in and say, hey, here's an existing framework, do your magic, make me $1 million or make me, $100,000 on my comic book. No, that's not how it works. When people tell you that the fans, the creators, are the ones that decide if they want to buy your book or don't want to buy your book, that's absolutely true. Your best bet is not to go to a specific creator in Comicsgate or elsewhere and say, hey, let's be friends now, and that'll fix everything. The problem is, like, I just searched Gail Simone Comicsgate, and the list of things that show up, it's just endless. All the things that she said, painting with such a broad brush, it's going to be very difficult to come back from. But personally, I believe in forgiveness. This does not mean that I'm going to be backing any projects that Gail Simone comes out with. This does not mean that I'm going to have Gail Simone on my channel. That would actually be really interesting, but in a different kind of way, not for a promotion standpoint. What I mean is, I don't enjoy spending any time or any effort obsessing about somebody on the internet, whether they're a comics book pro or not. Worrying about somebody else on the internet and being upset over it is silly. It's stupid. It's not worth the time. And so from that aspect, Gail Simone, I hope that you do well. I hope you figure out, what you need to figure out in order to stay afloat. But that doesn't mean that crowdfunding is going to work for you. Okay. If you've spent so much time alienating customers, not even a pandemic is going to be enough to make customers to open their arms and open their wallets. There's so many other books to buy, so many great books to buy. You've got to do a lot better than that. So if you want to, you had the right idea making a YouTube channel. I know I was one that mocked. It was a little cringy. I mean, come on. But if that's the road you want to go, it's a grind. It's not like you can just be accepted and then someone can just give you fans. That's not how it works. You've got to go out there and put in the work and bring your own fans to that network. Offer something else. The other thing is, don't be upset when people don't, when they're not happy with you. One thing you could do if you wanted to, I think this would be a great idea, is unblock everybody. Completely reset, unblock everybody. You're going to get people that come at you and they're going to say whatever they're going to say. They're going to make fun of you. Trust me, I have people that come after me on Twitter too, but you're never going to win by demonizing them or blocking them. You just it's one of those things, like, you just have to take your lumps and move forward. That's all you can do, is move forward. But I think that'd be a good start. Unblock everyone. Don't attack people over their politics. It's just funny that you say, I don't care what your politics are, because you've cared so much and so hard about what people's politics were for so long that you've got to understand that this comes off as kind of ridiculous. This is why I find crowdfunding to be such an interesting and I think a good model for making comics, because you have to be nice enough to people and not divide your audience enough that you're able to get people to back your book. Every personal slight, every personal opinion that you have on another creator or a fan, people see that, and it is constantly chopping your audience, just chopping pieces off of your audience based off of what you say. You've already chopped off such a massive chunk of potential audience over politics, or not just politics. Honestly, this is internet control, internet nonsense. Because in Comicsgate, there are people from all over the political spectrum. It doesn't have to do with left and right. It really does have more to do with how you treat people. What I would suggest, Gail Simone, is you unblock everybody, make videos, be consistent, make a video every single day if you're going to go that route. Just keep plugging away. You'll find out if there are people that like you, if they're going to jump over from reading your Marvel or DC stuff to actually reading your stuff. You'll find out if that's going to happen. And in that process, you're going to find that you are accountable to a whole set of people that you never thought you would be accountable for, right? You're going to be accountable for what you say about other creators, about everybody, essentially. And so, do I believe in forgiveness, and am I accepting of all olive branches? Yes. At the same time, that doesn't mean that that's not like a quid pro quo. I and nobody else owes you anything. Okay. If you want to do it for yourself because you feel bad about the pandemic, if that's really what's going on, you feel bad about that, or you feel bad about the state of the comic book industry, don't expect anything back. But you are the one that has to put in the work. Nobody can just give it to you. All right. So speaking of love and forgiveness, I'm gonna promote two comic books. There are two projects. One's on Kickstarter, unfortunately, and one is on Indiegogo. And I'm gonna promote both of these books. Why? Because I believe in love and kindness and forgiveness. All right. So first off, we have Ethan Van Sciver's Cyberfrog Wrecked Planet. This is seriously just blowing my mind. I can't believe how amazing this project is doing. He's got over 2,000 backers. He's got, I'm going to refresh this because I guarantee this went up. All right, $288,000, and we're still well in just day one. This thing is, it's going to be passing 300 grand. I guarantee it so quickly. So Ethan Van Sciver has done a lot for indie comics. He's done a lot for me personally. He's promoted my projects, and he's been really kind to me. He was the first comic book pro to give me the time of day, you know, as a nobody in comics, just wanting to come up into comics. He gave me the time of day, you know, and he highlighted my channel and he promoted my book. Now, when I say that, that upsets people, but that is the truth. He did that. I'm very grateful for it. And so if you haven't backed Ethan Van Sciver's Cyberfrog 2 Wrecked Planet, I strongly suggest doing it. I'm going to put it in the link in the description below. Also, we're going to look at Bless This Mess. This is by Mike S. Miller. He's got this on Kickstarter right now. I'm not a huge fan of Kickstarter, but you know, I've used Kickstarter in the past. Same deal. You know how it works. Bless This Mess is a comic strip. This is like Saturday morning cartoon strip kind of thing. The funny section, Sunday morning, I guess, funny section. It's very wholesome and entertaining. Now, Mike S. Miller also promoted my book, Downcast, the first book. He promoted it. He took some time, invited me on his channel, and he promoted my book, and I'm very grateful for that as well. All right, so now that we're done with all the touchy-feely love going on in comics. Let me know if you have any advice for Gail Simone on extending an olive branch. Tell me where you stand with forgiveness as far as online craziness goes. And I don't know, anything else you want to tell me. Thank you very much for watching. Stay safe, be healthy, and I will see you next video.